listening to TC TAUX on TNT.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's TC here, back with another episode of TC Talks, and today I wanted to quickly just highlight the Tua situation. We all know the brutal injury he sustained in Week 4 last night against the Bengals, but we're going to dive into the whole situation, the NFL, the Dolphins, and Tua. But really quickly, before we dive into all that, we got some fancy new buttons down below. Go ahead and press them, see what they do, and comment down below and tell me what they're for, because I really don't know. But let's go ahead and dive into this Tua situation, and I want to start off by saying thoughts and prayers to Tua and his family. It's an unfortunate circumstance, and honestly, just the thing that keeps playing on my head on repeat is just the way his hands looked. And honestly, there's so many things that come to mind with this. My initial reactions were, how did the Dolphins let him play? How did this happen so badly? Like, this was just gruesome. It was bad watching that. And it's so unfortunate that it had to happen. And honestly, I felt like there was something going on. And like, personally, part of me feels like there was a conspiracy to let him play. But another part of me is just like, am I searching for a boogeyman? Am I looking for a bad guy? Am I trying to escape the reality that injuries like this could just be a reality in the NFL? That when you have such big, powerful forces busting into you and knocking you into the ground and then on top of you, that can result in some scary, significant injuries. And it might not be that Tua got hurt in Week 3 and got that injury exacerbated in Week 4. That is a possibility. I think both are equally plausible, because I feel like there are often times where a lot of us want to just find a bad guy and be able to point to them and say that was the issue and that's the end of it. But I don't think it's really as simple as the Miami Dolphins or the NFL and the Miami Dolphins working together to try to cover up an injury on Tua, because why would Tua play? It's a concussion. If you have a concussion, you usually miss about 10 days, 14 days is about the time frame. So if he just doesn't play Week 4, then he has about 11 or so days to work with to be able to get back for Week 5, which is a much more feasible situation for him to deal with a concussion and come back and be 100%. So why wouldn't that be the call? Especially because you've seen him performing at such a high level this year, that why would you want to risk losing him for multiple weeks? Because 1 week, okay, sure, maybe he'll be a little bit off in the next week, but come Week 6, he would be 100%. But now if he's going to be gone for 2 to 3 weeks, where does that put the quarterback in terms of his comfortability? Is he at 100%? How long is he going to take to adjust, getting back into the swing of things? There's so many additional questions now that if they were able to negate this injury, which I think they should have and could have by not having him play, then you'd be looking at a different situation. But unfortunately, he was put in that situation. And this is why I kind of blame the Dolphins. And honestly, I understand, he didn't have a concussion. Let's assume that's true. There was no medical reason to sideline him. There is a thing called intuition. And my intuition, my thought process, my gut, whatever you want to call it, tells me that Tua should not play. He looked beat up at the end of Week 3, one of the toughest defenses he went up against. Going up against the Bengals defense in Week 4 doesn't sound like a good idea, and lo and behold, it wasn't. And obviously, hindsight is 20/20, but Tua being put in a situation where he could get hurt, not a good idea. I mean, if you are literally like this, coming off the court, yeah, Tua plays basketball now, guys. But if you're literally walking side to side, stumbling and bumbling, walking up the field, you should not play the next game. just as a general rule. Like, you would have to prove to me at a very high level that you're ready to go. And honestly, I would be hesitant to even have you draw contact, because what if I exacerbate it in practice just trying to get you into the game next week? No, forget about that. If it really has to come down to I need to see you get hit, then forget it. You're coming back next week. That's how it should be, and that's the safety that I think Tua deserves. He is a franchise quarterback. You don't want your franchise quarterback going out there with a broken arm and trying to throw 5 touchdowns. Just probably not a good idea, not something that's going to lead to a lot of success in the following seasons. I would assume similar situation with Tua. Could this be too big of an incident for him to come back from? Could he retire early? I've already seen the articles saying, hey, Tua should retire early because of the injuries. And a lot of people are citing the similarities between his situation and Andrew Luck and the fact that he got eaten alive in the backfield multiple times for the Indianapolis Colts, and how that eventually drove him from the team, forcing him into early retirement. Now, Tua might come back and try to be a fighter. I obviously think he's going to come back. But still, I think if he comes back and he continues to be punished like that, if he comes back and he continues to get hurt, I think there's only so much the human body can take. And Tua is a tough guy, but he is not Superman. Eventually, it is going to come to wear out on him, and he needs to be ready for that day, and he needs to be anticipating it. Because honestly, I hope he does the smart thing. I hope he does what Luck did, and he's able to get out before it's too late. But the scary thing is you can't always tell. And this injury can be one of those examples of how your career can end almost instantaneously. Assuming nothing bad happened and he just got hurt because of that tackle, it is amazing how much damage was done to him. And it is so soul crushing to know that could be the reality on any given play. But I want to know your guys' thoughts on this whole situation. Do you really think there might be something nefarious going on? Or do you agree with me? We might just be looking for a boogeyman, and Tua really did get hurt in this situation. Of course, hindsight is 2020, but would you have started Tua after the way he looked at the end of week 3? I want to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Until next time, this has been TC with TC Talks. Peace.